Hi guys, so welcome to my first review. I've actually been around for quite a long time lurking on YouTube, watching all the reviews. Thought about doing reviews myself and I finally decided to get around to doing it, start my own channel and do some reviews of my own. If you can't tell already, I'm from the UK. I've got quite a large collection, not huge, not Mark or Cody style size collection, but a reasonable size collection. A lot of which I hope to share with you and do reviews on. I'll try and do mainly reviews on products that haven't had many reviews on YouTube, but also obviously I want to review fragrances that I really love, so there will be some that I do that have already been done quite a lot. I'll do some top 10 lists and collection videos and haul videos, but I've also got some ideas of some completely different type of videos, so bear with me and I'll get around to doing those as well. So I've been into fragrance for, I guess 30 years really, since I was a little kid. I'm 36 now. I used to have things like Yardley Gold, Hallmark by Lonterec, Insignia, Blue Stratos, all of those kind of things, Brut, which actually really still love the smell of that. I really started to get into collecting when I discovered Base Notes and then Fragrantica, which is, I guess, is how a lot of us started. And then after that I found Fragcomm on YouTube, and I subscribe to just about everybody out there that's doing reviews or has in the past. I was going to do a lot of shout outs, but I know I forget some people, so I won't do that, but I will actually do shout outs and point you guys to other reviewers that have done reviews on the same fragrance when I do those. If any other reviewers are watching this, I hope you guys are, just to say I've got a newfound respect for you guys. I already did obviously respect all of what you do, but having tried to put the video together myself and realised how much preparation goes into it, you know, fair play to you guys, big respect to you all. At the moment I haven't really got a clue about video editing or any of that clever stuff, so all my reviews will be done in one take, so you'll have to forgive me if they're a bit rough around the edges. I'll probably get around to learning how to do the clever stuff, but at the end of the day the juice is the most important thing, so I just want to share my ideas and thoughts with you guys. I'm going to do the reviews from behind the camera, pointing at the bottle rather than me to start with. I'm sure you'd rather look at the stuff than me anyway. I may change the way I do that, but that's how I'm going to start it off. So anyway, enough rambling. I'm going to get on with the first review, which is the 2013 release from the House of Armani, and as you can see already, it's Armani Eau de Nuit. So, the idea behind Eau de Nuit is supposedly to capture the essence of the moment in the day when daylight turns to darkness. This is from the actual Armani description, and their marketing blurb is as follows: the intensity of the bergamot and pink pepper, softened with cardamom, evokes the gentleness of the day's last rays on the skin. Soon the rich accord of nutmeg and the powdery tones of iris emerge. The final glow of the sun shimmers on the already black surface of the water. Finally, the enveloping mystery of the night is reflected in the warm swirls of amber and tonka bean. I'm not sure that really represents the fragrance, but it's a good bit of marketing blurb that Creed would probably be proud of. So the actual fragrance itself, so Armani launched the original Armani Eau pour Homme in 1984. I'm sure a lot of you would have owned that and know what that one's all about, and it stood the test of time. That one's really a classic now. So it took them almost 30 years to come up with a flanker, which is obviously this one, Armani Eau de Nuit. And they've also launched a new version of the original Eau pour Homme, which I may get round to reviewing at some point in the future as well. So if we have a look at the actual presentation of this one, so this is the bottle. Nothing particularly out of the ordinary here. It's got this silver ribbon round here, and again on the lid. This is actually quite nice here. See if I can focus that a bit better. This Armani logo and the border on there, and then you've got serial number here. That's the bottle. It's quite a sturdy bottle, plastic cap, nothing out of the ordinary. Here's your box, Eau de Nuit pour Homme. This one's a 50ml, and you've got your info there, and a lot of French writing on the back. So, standard sort of bottle, mediocre, not great, but yeah, fine, no problems with the bottle. So, what is the fragrance all about? So, it's classified as an aromatic fougere, but the feel for it for me probably leans a bit more towards Oriental Fougere. I'm by no means an expert on categories, but that's what I get from it, so I'll stick with that for the purpose of the review. So Oriental Fougere's fragrances tend to be really warm feeling fragrances. Usually they've got some woods in there, some spices, but to contrast it they usually have fresher notes in there like rosemary, lavender. Eau de Nuit doesn't have rosemary or lavender in, but it has some other ingredients that still make it fit that genre, for me anyway. Some examples of Oriental Fougeres are Jubilation 25 by Amouage, A Taste of Heaven by Killian House, and Chanel Pour Monsieur, I guess, is another good example of an Oriental Fougere. So the actual notes on this one, in the top you've got bergamot, pink pepper and cardamom. For me, and this may just be my nose, I'm picking aniseed up from this as well. I actually get a real similarity to Lolita Lempigas Masculine at the top of this, but again that could be me. In the mid you've got nutmeg, iris and heliotrope, and in the base there is cedar, amber and tonka bean. Tobacco isn't listed as a note in here, but I definitely get tobacco out of this, so yeah, I'm sure it's in there. So it's quite an interesting mix of notes. The heliotrope one is a really interesting one. It's, for you guys that don't know, and a lot of you guys watching this will know an awful lot more than me, it's heliotrope comes from a very common flowering plant. You've definitely seen it in gardens. It's got small bright violet flowers on it, and the heliotrope in Eau de Nuit, it's quite easy to detect. It's kind of an almond marzipan smell, and it's a bit vanilla-y, and it's also got kind of a cherry pie vibe. It's really, really nice and quite easy to pick up. So the accords that I get out of this one, for those of you that are new to fragrance, just to give you an example of what an accord is, it's basically a blend of notes that make a completely different smell. So to take a music analogy, it's similar to a chord. So when you play a combination of notes, you create a completely different sound, which is called a chord. Well, that's what an accord is in fragrance, a blend of different notes that create a different smell. So I get aromatic notes, citrus and spice. I don't really get any sort of grassiness that you might associate with aromatic accords. I don't get that. It's certainly floral with the iris and the heliotrope, and I get quite a bit of powder from this, which I think comes from, certainly from the vanilla coming out of the heliotrope, and the iris, of course, is very powdery. It's definitely warm and spicy, which comes from the cardamom and the nutmeg, and again the tobacco that I pick up works really well in there as well. And as I said, I get aniseed from it, but it's not listed as a note in any way. So outside of giving you the actual notes on fragrances, what I try to do is give you an idea of what I get from each scent. So this one, the kind of image or scenario it conjures up is, I get the feeling that, you know, you'd be sitting next to a real coal fire on a really comfy settee or sofa. You'd be wearing probably a big woolen jumper, sitting there drinking a glass of bourbon or port, that kind of thing. The fragrance doesn't have those smells. It's not smoky or smelling of port or scotch. It's just the image I get. It's what I imagine when wearing it. It's really a cold winter night, being really cosy next to a warm fire. I definitely wear this for a night out, whether it's going out for a meal with the wife or going to the pub with my mates. I don't really worry about time of year for fragrances, but this one definitely wouldn't wear in summer. It just doesn't fit for me. So purpose is really autumn and winter night on this. So what does it smell like? So comparisons, it does get compared a lot to this, Dior Homme Intense, as well as Dior Homme. And I think it's probably the iris in there that gives that comparison. And there's amber in there as well, so that gives it some similarity. It's not a clone, but you can definitely smell it. It also has been compared to this, which I'm sure a lot of you know. Let's let you see that a bit better. La Nuit d'Homme, and again I see a similarity there, but I don't pick up any vetiver from Eau de Nuit, which you do get in the Nuit de l'Homme, so there are similarities. And I have also seen it compared to this Bulgari Black, and again it's probably the dry down, the vanilla dry down, that's the comparison. So I see all of those, but perhaps not as much as some of the reviews I've seen where people say they're clones of any one of those. Prices on this. Let's just straighten that bottle up, as you can see. So, I'm going to give you UK prices. So the RRP is £49 for 50ml, £62 for 100ml. So that's about $75 and $95 for you guys over in America. and Canada, etc. If you shop around, you can do a lot better than that. The UK online prices are around £42 for 50ml, £53 for 100, which converts to about $64 and 80 American dollars. Performance-wise, I don't tend to get great performance out of many fragrances. I don't have dry or oily skin, but fragrances just don't tend to last on me. It's not an olfactory thing, because other people can't smell them on me either. So this one actually is really good for me. I get a good sort of 8 hours of longevity out of it. You know, for 4 or 5 hours of that, it's projecting really well before it starts to sit a bit closer. And sillage wise, pretty much the same. Leaves a nice cloud for probably the first 4 or 5 hours. So that's probably below average for most of you, but for me it's certainly about above average, and it will, I'm sure, last a lot longer on you guys than it does me, compared to what I usually get out of other fragrances. So rating wise, yeah, for me personally, longevity wise compared to other fragrances, I'm going to give it an 8. Projection sillage, which I will put together, again I give it an 8. It projects well, leaves a good trail for 4 or 5 hours, as I said. So for actual smell, not taking into consideration anything other than how good it smells, I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10. It's a really nice smelling scent in my opinion. It's not as good as DHI or Dual Homme, but it's not a million miles behind. So unsurprisingly, the overall marks for this one are going to be 8 out of 10. Definitely worth a try. If you've tried it or you're going to try it, please do leave comments below. Let me know what you think. If you've got any other comments, please do leave them, and don't forget to rate and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon with another video. Thanks.